I'm Margaret in Windsor, and this is about 1 o'clock. Well, it is about 1:15 here in Troutville, Roanoke. And I've been using social media, Facebook, and if I can even talk here, YouTube, which I'm on now, because law enforcement doesn't work for me. They're a part of this whole mess. So excuse me, Dr. Phil, if you, who I admire, but if you don't believe in conspiracies, I've put this on, like I say, the social media, because I had no other outlet. It's who I am. It's why all this is happening to me. Oh, and I realize where they're going with it here. I'm made to run. I've put that on other YouTubes and Facebook. That's how they run me is with chemicals. They keep my room is toxic. So you can see if you don't know a background on this and you're someone just tuning in on it, how it sounds. So I realize now that if I live to get out of here and I can hardly walk, get on the road, and if I can get on a bus and go to another city to try to live, that's what I'm going to have to do. I went out and bought groceries last night. I have a tiny fridge in here, and I'm going to have to lose all them, and I'm kept penniless. I just paid rent yesterday, and you got so much that they do right here that's illegal. But, you know, I've paid and sucked it up and done everything in the book to have a place to live without going to the National Forest and living. So, you know, to Edward Snowden, uh, I don't think anybody, no, I'll rephrase that, I don't think anybody really cares, you know. I was telling this mess about mind control. Larry Flint was shot. I ran in a political campaign. The doctor I wrote about in a medical malpractice book went down the plane, and you can keep on and on with the links to me trying to tell things and people dying. And so, in other words, people are going to go on and accept the people that I was kidnapped in 41 and brought to Moulton, Alabama, and given another name, my identity stolen. The local media, the network media knows all this. And I can't give background on all of it. I try and the video goes off, and I'm not sure it's done me any good. I will say this. This is a maintenance guy, and when I'm allergic to chemicals, and I have an immune disorder, and I can hardly talk right at the moment. So if someone can keep where I'm living toxic, like sealants or I don't know what has been put in here now, I do know that it's bad. And if I live through it, I'm going to have to throw the groceries out. I don't have much money left. It's winter. I can't get out and hike the trail and go up and try to survive and freeze. I can't walk. But anyway, this whole area around here is owned by the Patels and Shaws from India now. This place is owned by, I won't, well, I'm not even going to say his name. This is the guy that, he's on vacation, by the way. Won't be back until, I believe, tomorrow when, but anyway, this is the maintenance guy. And what they've gotten, the law enforcement that's involved in it is the top in the country, and they've spread out to other countries, and nobody questions it. What that agency's doing, setting up in England or all over the world. So if I'm sounding, well, maybe if I live through it, if I don't. Anyway, when someone's got that much power, it's long gone anyway, isn't it? So I paid yesterday. My rent's, they've gypped me out of a day, but hey, was really due today. So now then, I'm out this week, and I don't have any money, and I've just bought groceries, and I'm going to have to throw them out and try to get a cab to somewhere. This is the maintenance guy. I said, I think his last name is Brent. And You can't put it on a tape, so I'll just say this: the Patels and Shaws on it's the land mass that they've accumulated, and I'll quote this before this tape goes off. Back in '95, my jobs had been gotten to when I wrote a book about the use of mind control. I'd worked for doctors, and I found out about one of the patients that had a chip put in the heart bypass because Dr. Forsyth was cardiovascular. And because of things that happened to me and other, my attorney even gave me a case, and the woman was later shot in Larry McDonald, okay, the doctor I wrote about, yes, Congressman's plane went down, shot on Christmas Eve in Piedmont Hospital there in Atlanta. I think it was 76 or 7, I think it had to be 76. Anyway, Doctors Warren and Rosina Matthews were forensic pathologists at his hospital. They were gunned down in Cobb County, Marietta, where I live. Larry Flint was shot in Lawrenceville and flew me out there. So that's how, to his home, the person was programmed to shoot. So it involves my kidnapping that I didn't find out until '83, and I got in a political campaign to replace Larry McDonald, and I haven't seen Mr. Flint back since then. He's had his own troubles. He was locked up in Butner, and so you tell the truth, and you have all kinds of things done to you. But anyway, they've used the chemical. I'm allergic to chemicals, so I've been run from place to place, and when law enforcement sanctions it, they get things on either the maintenance or the owner. Usually it'd have to be the owner. And for that, the feds either drop the charges or the people for the people's cooperation. Let me say that. So this is the rent I paid, and to get gassed. Now I'm going to say this because I know when bad's bad, and I've suffered through all this. And this is how they make it sound. The maintenance guy, everybody's gone except him and one other guy here, supposedly. There's not that many people living here, and they said they'd change my room, except the same thing would be there. So my word against theirs, I can't get an attorney. Last night, the person that, young fellow that takes me out to get groceries and helps me bring them back in, gives me a ride. I was with him and I was telling him what happened. They inserted there's an attic here, and the young fellow behind me and the maintenance even brought the stuff out. It was canisters they shouldn't even have. So they can set you up, and if you try to tell it, make it sound like you're paranoid or something. If you can't get an attorney in the law to work for you. So I don't know what that was. I don't know they were huge canisters. It was a huge tubing that the young fella threw right in front of me. It could have hit me. And the canisters were already across, but they're attached to a tubing. And they're huge, slender, not huge but tall, I guess about a couple of feet tall at least. So what was the point? I just stood there, asked him what was in them, because they shouldn't even have been there. There's nowhere to go with them. And he almost hit me with them. So now then, the air conditioning unit is working okay for the first time, I noticed yesterday. And now then, the fumes are pouring out from underneath a sealed, under the sink. I did look in the side, and it looks like you can't even get back there. It looks like all sorts of things back there. So I don't know what they're doing. I just know the fumes are out, and there's a attic here where they could take the thing off and don't even have to take it off and pump fumes through. So they've really set me up. So I'm not going to, if I die, I don't know what happens. I suppose they got stuff on this guy. I don't know if they did or not. He's supposedly maintenance here. He's been running the place. I know that last night when the young man took me to get groceries, right after the smells that started up in here, fumes from the bathroom,